G'day punters, welcome to the Sydney Review Show, Spring Champion Stakes here at Randwick on Saturday, and we'll join the team as always. Mark Sheen, I'll start with you. How did the day unfold there on Saturday for yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. It was an interesting day of racing. Probably the fence cut up very late in the day. I was certainly intrigued by the betting in the morning with Wild Ruler and Montefilia. They were both both off the map in the early stages pre-race there, and they duly landed the prize. So somebody's got away with a bit of cash there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Was there a particular highlight for yourself on the day?
Well, I know it was on Lions Roar at $30. That wasn't a highlight. So, look, a couple of lays got beat, which was nice. So, yeah, that was a highlight for me.
Mark Roden, the track played far more even than expected. Could you put that down to anything?
No, the win, it was an easterly, which doesn't normally make it hard to lead necessarily. Might have had something to do with it. A lot. It might be hard and the widest in the straight and make their runs wide too. So that was a bit unexpected, but it was certainly an interesting day's racing.
And Rob Scurry just kept going strength to strength. Another day, another win. How you feeling?
Mate. Oh, mate, it's been a great week. Wednesday was incredible. It's Curly on yesterday. So, I've had an all-time week, which is great.
And, of course, you'll be jumping out there starting this Wednesday, making Wednesdays a bit more part of your routine. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, mate, definitely. I'll be out there most Wednesdays now and, can't wait.
Well, you can shout a pie or a coffee if you're flying,
I'll put it on my ATC card for you.
Oh, very good. All right, we're going to, we'll start with the Roman Console, race 2, Group 2 over 1200, Wild Ruler. As Mark Sheen said, it was heavily supported there in the morning and really never ever looked like losing. It was completely bolting the entire race. Mark Sheen, I will start with you. I guess just looking at the race in hindsight, they've gone very slow here for the class, 9.5 lengths slow to the 600. Really, can you make any excuses for the Beaten Brigade?
No, I think it turned into his race when he found a bunny to follow. As Rob will probably elaborate on, he was much more settled in the yard on Saturday and seems to have really turned the corner in that respect. Probably didn't have much to beat here at the finish when you think about it, though. On the lead, walked out of the barrier, and Doubtland might be a horse who's looking for sting out of the track. So even though he's run the time, he probably didn't have a lot to beat. I think things fell into place for him, and he'll probably head off to the Coolmore now. You're probably entitled to have a crack at a race like that while he's in form and probably improving.
Yep, makes sense. Rob Scurry, how did the 5 horses look in the yard?
All really well. The Red Stiletto looked a bit underdone and kind of outgraded on type. I almost stayed out of here, but I just got sucked into Doubtland. I thought he'd strengthened up a bit. His coat looked great, and I just thought at the odds he might be worth a play. But as Mark Sheen said, the winner really improved. Not only his manners, but he seemed to have strengthened up to my eye or recollection. So almost like he'd put on condition from his first up run. So, he looked hard to beat. I said he'd be hard to beat. So, but I think this on the lead, it's only a 64 rater. He looks a much better horse to me on type than that. And as long as they don't aim too high, like a Coolmore or something, I think he's certainly got a win in him this time in, maybe next start.
Yeah, that horse has produced some okay figures so far. Mark Roden, Wild Ruler is unbeaten so far this prep. Where do you put him in the pecking order of the 3-year-olds?
He's up there. I think in Coolmore betting, he's on like the second, third line behind Anders, and I think that's probably right. There's also things like September Run, who flew down the straight last time, so it's got the straight experience. So, but I think that's certainly the way they got ahead with him, and considering his connections, that's the way they will head.
Yep.
I echo the sentiments about Doubtland. I actually came to the only way I could attack this race was to back on the lead to place, because I thought it could probably beat Doubtland on a firm track, and that ended up saving the day for me. I didn't realise it at the time, but I think we can pretty much label Doubtland now after that.
Yep.
His lengths off his best. By far, his 2 worst runs have been on firm track, so I'm labelling him now.
Do you think he's looking for a bit further now? They've kept him at 1,200.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I don't know. There's a few data points there now, and the two outliers to me are the firm track runs.
He also might be a bit overrated.
Yeah, I mean, that day during the championships, he looked like Farlap, when he came from back and just went whoosh. Maybe that was it, and never again. I don't know, but I'd still be giving him another chance if he struck soft ground.
He did something similar at his first start too. At Kenzo, he went whoosh.
Soft track again, though.
Yep. All right, we'll have a look at race 3, purely just because it was a fast run race, and the figures on what was a pretty ordinary day for overall benchmark. This race actually produced one of the stronger races. Criaderis getting a race front to suit, track to suit as well. Rachel King on board, ticked a few boxes there, heavily supported, beat the stablemate and Zakat. Rob Scurry, take us through the horses that you found in race 3.
Well, Criaderis has come on, but he's still got another run or two in this time in. He still looks a bit podgy, so I was kind of keen to play the toppy Bottega, who looked sensational and showing some really good sort of signs in the yard, I thought. I was hoping that the 8 that missed the start first up, name escapes me.
Bound to win.
I was hoping that could jump because it looked great, at top or close to it. Coat fantastic. But yeah, like Bottega, I just thought at the odds, I knew that the favourite was going to get to last, so I just thought that made him a bit of a play if he could just find that one out, one back spot where everyone seemed to have him mapped. You had him mapped there, Pete. You had him mapped there, Mark. And then he jumps out and he's ridden like a Oakley plater.
Mark Sheehan, what was your impression of the first 3 across the line in this race?
I thought the winner got run to suit and probably was a little bit flat with considering the weights and the way the race was run, and for a few traffic problems for Bottega and Bound to Win falling in a hole. Thought he was probably entitled to win a little bit easier than that. Bottega, well, the race on paper looked to be a slow race, and he hunted out to try and take advantage of that. Next minute, they went 1,000 mile an hour down the side. So he's probably a forgive run for sure. You wouldn't have expected him to be hunting out to lead like that. Bound to Win, well, she might be in the bin now. She's missed the start badly last start, and then she did over race in the middle stages there, but she did compound badly. So I'm not sure what to make of her. But I thought the winner was entitled to probably win a little bit easier with the weight.
Mark Roden, do you have an impression on the winner?
I've always been a bit of a fan of the horse, and I've got to agree on my ratings. He's actually rated a couple of lengths down on his last 2 starts, but despite the fact he's won here. Now, because I use a bit of weight in my ratings, because he had a pretty sharp weight drop on Saturday, that may be playing into it. He hasn't been able to, with the light weight, hasn't rated as well because he's carried a light weight. But yeah, I take that point. Bottaga's clearly the run of the race here. I mean, just the shambles of a ride, really, and just to get sort of run past, and then still, I think it's run the last best 100 metres to the line in the race too. So definitely a race for him. They might take him to Melbourne. There's any number of 1,600 to 2,000 metre races they could set him for down in Melbourne, or
the Golden Eagle.
Yeah, I'd want further now, to be honest. Yeah, but
Carbine Club Stakes Derby Day.
Yeah, he's 4, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's 4. Sorry. Look at the horses every night. Not just the horses. The horses on paper.
Yeah.
Just look at the horses.
But yeah, just another case of a race. There are a few examples of this on Saturday, or at least 2 races being run quite differently to how they were expected to.
Yep. One race that pretty much went to script was the Stan Fox Stakes, 1,500 Group 2 for the 3-year-olds. Peltzer just managed to dictate even speed. They've gone bang on even, 0.4 lengths slow to the 600, and he duly saluted. Rob Scurry, how did Peltzer look compared with some of the others in this event?
he looked a class above them to me. And I've always liked that Golden Rose as a proper form race. It's usually the best of the best, and he looks suited on the weights here. And he paraded the best he's paraded. Like, he walked around really relaxed, not a drop of sweat on him, as Mark Sheen was alluding to earlier in his campaign. He'd get hot, he'd jog around. No, but he walked around perfectly. So didn't look so much pace mapped in the race. So it was like, and it was there in the ratings. So I was just like, I've got Ace King here suited, push. So I pushed and he got home. The other horse in the, Subpoenaed, I've never been a big rap for. Was that in this race, Subpoenaed?
No, this was Prime Star and Jet Propulsion.
Yeah. Prime Star had been on previous two starts, had a good win on him at Rose Hill. Looked sensational again, but not just a rung below. Samu looked good again, but he got beat at Warwick Farm for me somehow. He just we're getting $3 here about a quality horse. Maybe the Firm Track was maybe my only thing in the back of my mind that thought this horse might be better suited on a softer ground. But yeah, I just thought he was suited at the weights and on looks, and yeah, good result.
Mark Sheen, Peltzer just ticked all the boxes here. Are you going to be following him going forward into another preparation?
Look, I think he got his own way here, and as you mentioned, the speed, they didn't go all that fast. It was the first time he got his own way this preparation, whereas instead of chasing in what it's been fast races in that lead up to the Golden Rose and the Golden Rose. Look, he may have been in the worst part of the track there at the death, and he didn't look an exceptional win. Probably want to follow Prime Star out of the race. He was the one jumping sharply in distance and had to go back from the widest draw, or wide with a small field though, and gave away a fair start. So I'd be probably looking to him next time they met.
Yeah. Mark Roden, are you giving Peltzer a little bit of a bonus? He was one of the few leaders to really sort of stick on and get the job done there on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you balance that against he did get run to suit, so maybe they cancel each other out, those two factors, to some extent. They're going to the Bondi, the time-honoured Bondi station.
Which Kubrick and the other thing clashed in. What was it? I backed it in the first at 40. Pancho.
Oh, that's
yes. Kubrick and Pancho.
Camelot, didn't it, Pancho?
Form lines, all right. Don't need to look at my form again.
Peltzer's aiming up to add his name to that storied list, him and Kubrick, Bondi Stakes winners. He will be up to the mile, which might see him out, but I think we can safely assume it's not going to be a very high-quality race, and he might get control again. I like the run of Prime Star. Jet Propulsion got out, kicked and was sort of coming again on the line. He's improved every start, pretty much, or he sort of held what he did last time on my numbers, which suggests he's got a platform to go to a new level. I mean, him getting outpaced like that, he really did. He didn't just get out-kicked by every horse in the race. Once they really did lose his way for 200 metres there. But he was coming again, so he might be next prep, but there might be a race in him somewhere.
Or the Bondi.
Yeah, well, if he jumps a level off that, he can win the Bondi for sure, but I just wonder whether that next level might be coming in the autumn.
Yeah, just to touch on that point, he ran the 5th out of 6th fastest 400 to 200 metre split, and then ran the 3rd fastest last 200 of the race, Jet Propulsion. We'll jump to probably what was in the end, one of the more interesting betting races on the card, the Silver Eagle over 1300, race 6, and purely just because Alligator Blood, I think quite a few people were willing to take him on at odds on, and he really did get the blows, ended up jumping $2.95 on the fair as the starting price. Flit has returned, just doing Flit things, bobbing up in a slowly run race. They've gone 2.9 lengths slow to the 600. And Dawn Passage had some claims as well, first up with a sticky gate. Rob, just run us through Alligator Blood. I mean, that's probably the horse that most people have interest with going forward out of this meeting. How did he look?
He looked great. Maybe slightly underdone, but only slightly. I like the horse's attitude, or maybe my impressions a little bit tainted by the way he races his bulldog style. But he does seem to walk around like a real fighter, a real competitor. So I fell into him at the $3. Flit looked great, held condition, but again, it's a case of case of a horse that I've made assumptions of it as being preferred better on wet, and that's why I left it out of the numbers, which was my bad. Old Bossy's old thing. I couldn't bet on just because it just looked a bit short in the market, but it did look great. Help me out here. Called
Ice Bath.
Ice Bath. Subpoenaed
Subpoenaed
I can't have, and that was under. So that made me want to bet in the race, and obviously I've made a blue here, not having something on Flit, who did parade really well, and so yeah, he can run well again. Alligator Blood. I guess it's price dependent. Next start.
Mark Sheehan, was Alligator Blood disappointing from your point of view?
No, I'm a little bit different to Rob. I thought it, not having seen the horse before, but I thought it had a lot of improvement, and I didn't really like the look of it on the day, to tell you the truth. And I was on the wrong number, though. I was on Subpoenaed, and I suppose when you go back and look at that replay the other day, Flit was a pretty good run compared to it. So the last time they clashed over 1,200, so it's a missed opportunity for me. And I didn't like Dawn Passage pre-race as well. So, I stuffed this race up. Subpoenaed, and Mark thought of coming back in distance was against it, and he was right. It was warming up late there and probably should have gone to the 1,600 metre race for the mares. But she was disappointing, and Flit just landed in a nice spot and probably got into a good position and was able to wear down Alligator Blood. So I'm not sure what to make of this race, to tell you the truth.
Mark Roden, do you have a point of view with Alligator Blood, if he's going to be peaking next start in the Golden Eagle, or was he just a little bit flat, do you think?
No, I think he's ticking over perfectly. I didn't want any part of him on Saturday because the grand final's in 3 weeks' time. And interesting to hear Mark's comments. He thinks if he's got improvement in him, because just numbers-wise, he's put sort of 2 runs together, a level off his best. If he goes back to that level, I don't think I'll beat him. I suppose think Funstar, if it produced its absolute best, would give it a race, and maybe 1 or 2 others. But it just looks on paper to me like the preparation's ticking over absolutely perfectly. He had a good run on Saturday, and Flit just ran past him. You wouldn't back him on that run, but if he does have that extra level in him, he's going to be very hard to beat.
Is there any concern that so far he's been in 2 pretty slowly run races?
What, from a fitness point of view, or?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah, but I don't know. He's got what, 3 weeks now? It is 3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he'll have him spot on. He trains a lot of winners, that bloke, and
a lot of winners.
I mean, you can say something about what route the horse flight takes to the races on Golden Eagle Day, but even taking that out of the equation, his Melbourne form was really good after that as well. So, flight trips, notwithstanding, he's still a pretty good horse. He's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, look, he was big in condition, but you know me, I don't mind that. I prefer a horse with improvement to come than a horse rock hard.
Yeah.
He was funny when he was parading in Melbourne last year. He looked on 1 occasion, if not 2 occasions, like he was almost at complete top, and he didn't really have any condition to come, and then seemingly was able to improve going forward into a next start. It was quite staggering to think, because he had a really long preparation last year. So I guess it's the trainer probably does know the horse better than anyone. So I'm sure he's got it just ticking over perfectly for the GF, as you said. Race 7, Spring Champion, 2,000 metres, Montefilia, just strong, dominant, very fast tempo to the 600. They've gone 8.2 lengths fast to the 600, and the horse is just too strong. Defeating Lions Raw and Bucharest. Rob, I'll start with you. Just run us through Montefilia, Love Tap. They were probably the 2, as well as Cherry Tortoni in the market.
Yeah, so look, I stuffed this up. Hats off to Mark Roden, who did say she would beat my boy. The girl would beat my boy. Well done to you. Look, I should never assume, and it just shows my theory. The less I know, the better. Tame Impala or something. It's he didn't look any better than he did at Rose Hill. I thought he tightened up a little bit, but he didn't stand out like he did at Rose Hill. I thought Cherry Tortini, he got this kind of big old school style of staying frame, something from 20 years ago, like a Derby horse. He was glowing in the coat. He was a bit, as Lizzie might say, full of himself. He was like pig rooting and stuff, and a little bit in the yard. But yeah, I thought he was good. Such a thin race, so I played those two and risked the Montefilia, who I watched your guys' previous show. Mark Sheehan said if she backs up like she did, then she'll probably win, and she did back up like she did. She held her condition, walked around really well, and I was kicking myself. Do not assume ever.
Mark Sheehan, in terms of Montefilia and Love Tap going forward, are you going to be following either or both of those when they turn up in Victoria?
Well, I think Love Tap might be over the top now. He's had a couple of runs. Did a bit of work there, but probably a touch disappointing, although those leaders, 3 of the leaders all folded up, and Bucharest, who drew inside all of those, did stick on for third. But Montefilia just got nice speed to suit, and she was just a better stayer on the day. Lines were all travelled up to win. Looked immoral at the rise, but just couldn't stave off Montefilia. She's always promised that she would be better over when she got over a bit of ground, and it turned out that way. The only thing negative with her in the back of your mind was that she only lightly framed and had to back up 7 days in a row, so 7 days from her last run. So, but she overcame that, and she's probably off to the Oaks now.
Yep, you'd think so. Mark Roden, are you following anything out of the race besides any of the obvious?
No, Andrew, no. 1, 2, clearly the best performances in the race. Just a bit disgusted that I, came on last Monday and said Montefilia about Love Tap, then came on Thursday and gave all the reasons why she wouldn't win. Was worried about barrier 1 and a, projected slow pace, and she got the speed on anyway. That's, but she could have the Oaks at her mercy. I assume they're heading that way. He wasn't. David Payne didn't seem 100% after the race, but that's the logical course, I think. Anything else? No, I do think Love Tap's had it for the prep at least. Miraval and Favreau ran on again, but I mean, how far do they want? They probably want the Melbourne to Warrnambool bike race or something. They could just be slow as well.
Well, they're probably looking for the 2500, aren't they? When you think they might be Oaks and Derby types.
Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't back Miraval to beat Montefilia.
No, you wouldn't. But she'd be looking for the trip.
Certainly looking for the trip, but maybe not the class.
Yeah, I think Favreau might go okay in the Derby. He's still got good condition on him.
Okay.
The right trainer for the job, isn't it, John Sargent?
Well, I tell you what, the Derby's probably more. There's no standout in the Derby like there is in the Oaks at this stage.
It's a BM78.
Yeah.
Okay. Race 8 on the card was the Anks Stakes over the mile, and it was run at a very fast tempo again, 5.1 lengths fast to the 600. Rob Scurry, you've been following Emeralds pretty much the entire preparation. Just managed to nail Graceful Glamour on the line.
Yeah, look, she again a good example of me not knowing. It really does help. But who's this number 9? This is gleaming. Look at this. It's who's that? And I asked my mate. He said, "Oh, that's Emeralds." So yeah, she went out on top. I thought the Shout the Bar had it improved, but she obviously had a really tough run. Graceful Glamour, again, I knew it was her because obviously she's a grey in a mare's race, and she's low in the numbers. I knew it's Graceful Glamour. But again, I've got this horse, assuming that she's better. Herbie, assuming she's better on a soft track. So that's why I left her out of the numbers. And she's still got condition to come. Doesn't help Mark Roden. I never thought I was going to get there. And Jason Collett up the inside. He's on fire, the man, and thank you. Yeah, it was very exciting, and I didn't think I got the photo. I'm interested to see if Mark thought he got the photo. But yeah, it must have traded $1.01 for a good few seconds there, maybe 5 seconds there. So if all those $1.01 punters would be fingers burnt.
Absolutely. It was a much better ride on Graceful Glamour, it must be said, actually letting the horse roll forward and dictating, as opposed to what happened in Melbourne, where it was nowhere really near the lead. Mark Sheehan, Scarlet Dream's price went completely off on the day. It's SP favourite. I guess it was one of the horses that we identified on the preview. Will you give it another go, third up?
Look, she is a bit in and out. I just thought she might have improved with the change of stable, that she might be a little bit more predictable, but she went back to her old ways there. She can put in a bad run, and she certainly put in a bad one on Saturday. She did stay on the fence, but Emeralds went past her one off the rail, so you couldn't use that as an excuse, I wouldn't think. I don't know what to make of this race. A lot of horses went awful in this race that ran well in the lead up. So I don't know what to make of it. Emeralds was just too good on the day and did truck through near the inside, which probably wasn't the place to be late in the day. So Graceful Glamour was brave in defeat there at the finish, just run down on the post. But, you know, I got a question mark over the form here with so many of these failing after they'd run well in the previous lead-up race.
Yep. Mark Roden, what are you making of race 8, the Angst?
Just learning to talk about it now, to be honest. I was in absolutely comatose for about 20 minutes after this. I had the grey dry track Nash. I loved that.
Yep.
I thought today's the day. I had it going for a good result, and did everything but win. But there you go. What can you do? It is a funny little race. I figure that's Emerald's new PB, and Graceful Glamour's only got one higher figure with me, and that was the day when it was a leaders track at Moonee Valley.
Yep.
So they've both gone really well. Emeralds has always been threatening to do something like that. And, I mean, I've been a fan of Emeralds. I was on her last start when she ran second to Stupended, exactly, yeah. So just a bit sickening to get done that way. But the one horse I would mention out of this race, who I think is flying, I don't know what the target is House of Cartier, who even first up at an unsuitable trip ran the best sections in the race, I think, then took a little step forward last time and has done so again. So maybe it's one of the Melbourne Mares races over 2,000.
Matriarch.
I don't know if she's quite that good, but she's going really well. And once she gets out to 2,000 and above's her go. So it'd be interesting to see where they do take it.
Well, they're all usually beaten up by the time. You know, if he times this run, then she should be right in there.
Yeah, she's just going like that this prep. So
yeah, and she's settling more forward as well. We're seeing it even over 1,200. You know, settle 10th or 9th or 10th in run, as opposed to just flopping out last. Just being able to put that horse into the race is just giving it a bit more of an opportunity. But yeah, completely agree. It's clearly one of the horses to follow out of the meeting for me. All right, we'll have to touch on race 9. Just to give Rob Scurry another pump up, not that he necessarily needs it at the moment, but Blazing Miss, Tom Sherry, your man, Rob Scurry, go for it.
Look, she's big, strong girl. She did look slightly underdone, but then I thought, hey, it's only 1,000 meters. They don't have to be fit to be fast. Someone, you know, on Betfair, it was 20s, it was 25s, and then it tap into 20s, and then when it's jumped well, it's SP $15. I've been absolutely rorted. Disgusting when I did the results to see that.
You don't want your ticket, I'll have it.
Oh well, I did go 1 by 2 each way, so it wasn't a huge result, but look, Tommy Sherry
too. By the way, you've got double that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was great, and look, I've just got home in race 8. Never looked like it's going to win. This looked like it's going to get run down, but Tommy, he's got off as Mark alluded to. Sheeny, he's got off the worst part of the track. He's gone sort of down the middle. He's just so balanced on him. Oh, I love Tommy Sherry. He never panicked. He just nursey all the way to the line, and I gave a bit of a howl after this one when it got home. Walked out, Conor McGregor style, and it was opened up some of the bottom shelf stuff on Saturday night. So old mate's what is it, bloody Superium.
Yep.
I had to have something on him. I've lost so many units on him, so he was a small play. He did look quite kind of forward here, but other than that, I think it was a pretty low. A lot of these horses you'd see going around on a Wednesday this time of year, maybe a Saturday in the off season, but pretty weak. And I think she can certainly improve. Maybe that down the straight race on Oaks Day for mares for Blazing Miss.
Yep. Mark Shan, it's a slowly run race, 5.5 lengths slow to the 600. Plenty of big splits on the way home. Are you following any of these going forward?
Well, they went about 1.5 seconds slower than I thought they would. Well, we did lose a bit of speed in the race in the morning with a couple of scratchings, but Blazing Miss jumped well inside Mr. Mosaic and bluffed him out of it. He just handed up Mosaic, and its only hope is just let it rip. So, and next minute they're walking, and it was no surprise to actually see the leaders hold on. So under the circumstances, Plaquette has run an outstanding race. And Superium, well, he is a bit of a pretender, but I'm not really sure 1,000s he's going. He did lose his spot there at the top of the straight, so maybe one more go for him, but I think Plaquette the one to follow.
Yeah, Mark Roden, it's run the fastest last 800, 600, 400, and the second fastest last 200 of the day. Plaquette, is that the way that you'll be looking going forward into another race?
Yeah, they've all mostly run to their marks in this race, from what I can see, and except Plaquette, who's been slightly off, and I think it's for the reasons Mark Sheen just mentioned, Mr. Mosaic not injecting that speed that we thought might be in the race into it. So she's done really well. She's a bit of a horse of mine, actually, and I'm quite happy that I've managed to stay away from backing it, because that would have made 2 races in a row. I would have been knifed on the line by R. Scurry. So at least, if nothing else, I managed to avoid that.
It's not a competition, Mark.
Just for sanity reasons, anyway. Okay, horses to follow. Rob, I'll start with you.
Race 2 on the lead, race 3 Bertiga, race 8 Blazing Miss.
All right, Mark Sheen for yourself.
Yeah, mainly only Plaquette, I'd say.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't a day for flashing lights for me, so Plaquette, I'd say.
And Mark Roden.
Bertiga, House of Cartier, and I'll talk myself out of it on the Thursday prior to the race, but Alligator Blood to win the Golden Eagle.
Okay, all right, I like it. Now, week ahead. This week is the big mountain races.
It is,
isn't it?
There's a bit on, yeah.
I haven't been paying attention to the numerous advertising. I think I've got selective deafness now. I've finally reached that great age where I can just pretend that nothing said referring to a mountain exists. So, look, I'll join Mark Sheen and Mark Roden on Thursday to preview. It should be a pretty decent card. I'm taking it a bit in jest. It should be very interesting to do form for. So I'll speak to you gentlemen then. And Rob Scurry, look forward to hearing your thoughts out of the yard on Wednesday.
Mate, I've got score to settle with that dump. It's got me the last few times. I haven't won there for a while, so yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out to Warwick Farm.
Big hello to everyone out there at Warwick Farm this morning. Thank you all. Have a good week.